Now today we go back to 2008, 17 years ago, 17 long years ago, a fresh-faced Sebastian Vettel put it on pole around Monza for the Italian Grand Prix and also went on to win the race in what really, kind of was his breakout moment in Formula 1, and then of course drove for Red Bull in 2009, and then we all know what happened from 2010 to 2013. Now, this was very much the catalyst. Although Seb had previous results which were very impressive, this was the one where it just really stood out. And, this car, as the commentator James Allen at the time said, Toro Rosso with Minardi DNA was put on pole and then won in such convincing fashion, in such conditions. Today, we're going to try and beat this retro pole lap. Sebastian Vettel, a 1 minute 37.555, I believe, around Monza. Let's see how we get on. Now, there's a few things to note, as always, with these vintage laps. Now, in 2008, they qualified in Q3 with their race fuel. So, Seb boxed a lap 18 in the race, so we'll have to carry 18 laps of fuel on the car. It could be a bit more, but the race actually started on the safety car, so unlike other episodes where we want to carry a little bit of fuel reserve, it's highly likely that 18 may have been the case in real life because the safety car in the first few laps allowed for them to extend their fuel stint. Now, with that out of the way, we're going to get started here and get stuck in. So, here we go. Conditions are not very nice, but we're going to try and get things started. So, first lap of the day, let's get to it, guys. Leave a like on the video and subscribe. Let's try and hit over 1,000 likes on this one as we begin down towards turn number 1. Here we go. Braking. Nice and easy, nice and early. Also, you want to try and avoid the curbs and the white lines because they can be very unsettling and loose. So you might see me, use or touch a couple of curbs, but generally I'm going to try and avoid getting anywhere near the edges of the track. Braking at the bridge, down to third gear. We'll dip to second for now. Tried hitting that inside curb, that didn't feel particularly great. Now through the first Lesmo. Lots of understeer, avoid the curb on the left, look at all the standing water on the curb. Second Lesmo. Trying to get the power down, there we go. These cars had no traction control. This was the first year after they got removed at the end of 2007. No curves, of course, no DRS. So essentially one of those rare seasons where the cars were completely, driver aid-less for the entire year. Nicely done there through Ascari. Now we just have one corner to go, Parabolica. Oh, bit of rear lock in there, that'll snap. We keep it under control on the entry, we're going to keep a tight line. Ease the power on in fourth gear. Very gradually. Over the line we go. 1 minute 40.5 as our first lap of the day. Now this is a default setup, so let's have a look and see what we can change. We should also have to update our fuel. You can see in the bottom right, estimated laps 12.9. So we're going to have to up our fuel considerably. So that's going to make us slower. Now then, I want to run you through the setup a little bit and show you a few things. Also, things I've changed. Now the gearbox, we're going to keep the same for now. That might change. Tyres, I've just lowered the pressures, all 4 tyres by a click. So they're 1 lower on the PSI. Now the fuel is interesting. We have an estimated 14.8 laps. So we're going to have to raise that to 18 laps minimum. I'll go an extra click, so 18.2, 98 litres of fuel in the car, which is a heck of a lot. So we'll see how that goes. Electronics, I'm going to up the engine brake from 6 to 8. Aero, I've basically just dropped the rear wing by 2 clicks, so now all 3 elements are level. And then all I've ever changed after this is brake bias up by a click, and then I've kept everything else default for now. I want to see if we can go quicker on a second lap, knowing what the conditions are like. Now we're not hanging around, I'm giving it some beans already on the out lap, just trying to get some tyre temp. Also, just to see where the limit is in terms of track conditions. Now, here we go. Second attempt out the last corner. We're going to try and really find some time here. Still got a ways to go. So, underweight, we'll get the delta up for the next one once we make some serious car adjustments. Down towards turn 1, we're going to try and spot a braking point. Going for the 150 at the moment. We might be able to push a bit more. Oh, car getting out of shape there. Using the inside curb at 1. Just flooring on the way out and hoping I can control the oversteer. Car's bottoming out here, or just understeering, almost aquaplaning through the inside of turn 3. On the brakes, into the chicane. We'll try third gear. Clip that inside curb at 4, which seems to be okay. Easy on the exit. Out of 5, Lesmo 1 taking it in 4th gear this time using a higher gear. Same goes for Lesmo 2. Try and take a bit more inside curb, avoid those exit curbs, they're just full of water, astroturf, paint, exactly what you want to avoid. Ascari's a tricky one, you want to kind of use the curbs, but they're so risky. Brake at the bridge, onto 4th gear. Attack that inside curb, that one's got a river running over it, easy on the way through. You can hear the tyres there just wheel spinning the minute we touch the line. Decent lap though, 2 purple sectors into La Parabolica. I'm just unable to get any sort of front end turning at the beginning there. I'm trying to get an early apex, but the front end just won't have it. Up to the line. Do we improve? Yes, we do. 39.1. So we go quicker with more fuel, but we, dial it in a bit and push a bit more aggressively, but we're still a good, essentially 1.5 seconds off. So the fuel's already there, and the wings I'm kind of happy with, really, because naturally Monza's low wing base, but you kind of want wing in the wet to be quick. So it's going to be micro adjustments from here on out. Now for this one, I've made a few decent adjustments I feel like are going to work pretty well. The first one is the gearbox. I've actually lowered the final gear ratio to the lowest possible. It gives us a very short 7th gear for Monza, but for these conditions, I think it could work well. I think we might top out. It could be close. We're going to try and see how it goes. Either way, tyres I've kept the same on the pressures because I've made some adjustments elsewhere. So, the wing, I've gone down on the rear wing by a click. Also, toe and camber, front and rear, I've made some small adjustments to basically get the front to be a bit better for temp, a bit better for front end bite, and the rear a bit more stable. Dampers I've kept the same for now. Generic, I've moved the brake bias down a click to 55, which is essentially reverting to default. Suspensions, I've made the roll bar softer, I've upped the wheel rates a little on the front, and I've also just dropped the ride height a tad to see how the car responds. Hopefully we get better traction from that. So let's give this a shot and see how things react. So here we go, delta bar active. It's that time. Now we're going to try and find some serious lap time. So let's get stuck in. Let's get into it. Let's see if we can try and get a bit closer to Seb's pole lap as we touch a bit of a puddle there. So the rear's getting all spun out of control, so we lose time down this pit straight. There's the rev limiter. Braking for turn 1. Not sure if I'm liking the 55 bias, but I could be wrong. Let's try and continue here, but initially my gut feeling... let's try that one again and try and sort that out. 3rd attempt overall. Here we go. Good start. This time no handicap off the exit of the last corner. There's the rev limiter. Still rear lock in there on 56 bias, interestingly, but we'll take it in our stride. Found good traction there. Right. Come on then, that's a 10th. Let's keep it rolling and take a tight line here to gain a bit of time. And now we head into the chicane. The rear getting slightly crossed, but actually we've done a good job there, although the exit is going to really suffer as I went in a bit deep. Rear lock, and I think that rear wing might be the issue, not the bias. Good job though through Lesmo to pull that time back, but the rear is just going on me all the time. Right, that's not the best start to the lap. I'm in a bit deep. Nope. I'm overdriving it already. Let me go back to the drawing board a little bit on setup and try a few tweaks. So just a few things to mention is the wings. I've gone inverted and I've gone down quite a bit on the front by 2 clicks. So we actually have a higher rear and a lower front to try and aid that car stability so I can push the car more. And then elsewhere, I've also made a few tweaks on the brakes. I've lowered the brake power to 95, so the brakes aren't as on edge the whole time. And I've reset the bias to 56. I think that will do. I've also lowered the ride height in the rear by an extra click. So let's see if this works. So 4th attempt, trying to get my 3rd lap of the day on the board. Let's see. I did forget to just up the gearbox by a click on the last gear, but we'll see how the car responds. We'll likely hit the limiter, but we should be okay. There it is. Right, down towards turn 1 on the brakes. I've actually gone up to 58 on the brake bias because I was still struggling with the rear on the outlap, on the braking. 10th down. This isn't what I hoped for so far. I feel like I'm hitting a bit of a brick wall on car setup at the minute. Right. This is the, I believe, the Rogier chicane. This time we do get the car stopped. We float over the curbs. Reasonable traction there as we head into the Lesmos. Lesmo 1, the rear still trying to overtake the front. I'm a little bit perplexed now as to why this keeps happening, but either way, let's try and keep the car pointing in the right direction. Second Lesmo, pretty decent. Still 2 turns down though. Let's see if we can do a bit of time for Ascari. Braking later, letting the car roll into the corner a bit more. Oh, that's not the right line. That's not the right line. Damn, struggling. Nope. I don't have an answer. The braking I'm really struggling with. The braking more than anything. I don't feel confident front or rearward. Pressure low, pressure high. Another attempt here to try and see if I can improve. Do not touch the white lines. They're so slippy. Oh my god. Here we go. Come on. Right, there we go. That's more like it. Getting the car stopped there for turn 1 nicely. Couple of short shifts. And that'll do. Slightly up. Which is better than we've done for a long time. I think getting the downshifts done early is actually working better than trying to prolong the higher gear. A bit wide there through the Lesmo. Had to pull the car back. Lesmo 2. Focus on the exit. Good. Good. Right, finally some progress. Come on then. Let's try and get into the 138s. 1 step at a time. Ascari. Turn in. Oh, bit of a snap there, but that's okay. Losing the advantage. Avoid the curb on the right and the white line as much as possible. Wow, there's a lot of time there. If I could avoid touching that white line and the exit and slipping on that curb, that will gain us a lot. Final corner. Decent entry. Picking up the throttle nice and early. Tight line, working well there. Okay, finally some improvement. I've got to get out of the muscle memory of breaking that line or touching that line. Right, 38.8. Right, I'm going to try and set up the exit a little bit here for a better start to the lap. We know what white lines to avoid, so let's do that. Right, come on. Here we go. Also, I think I've sorted out the driving. I've got to try and get the gears down earlier. Just like that. That worked pretty well. I think if I do that, I can actually brake a little bit later, but I've got to untrain my muscle memory from previous laps. Somehow we're 3/10 down, which is a big surprise. I didn't think it felt that bad. I still can't do it though. I still can't brake late the way I want to, but I don't have an answer. I've tried everything. Nope. It just, I don't know why. I'm not even braking that much, but it just keeps doing that. Now, drastic times call for drastic measures. So what I've done, I've actually reset the setup to the default original. All I've done is just put the fuel correct to 18 laps. So let's see if this kind of resets car performance or if I'm a bit lost. A purple sector 3 kind of confirms this might be the way to go. So a complete reset, start from scratch. Here we go. Yeah, that feels so much more stable under braking. The usual adjustments that I'd make to the car setup for, let's say, a dry pole lap clearly are not really working for the wet. So we're going to have to improvise something. But let's keep going here for now. Wow, what a difference. I actually ran deep. I was able to brake late for a change. Okay, let's keep going. Let's see if there's any more time in the lap. I'm just curious to see where we can improve things a little on the car. Oh, that's wide. That's not going to help. Okay. Right. That's an encouraging sign. So I'm going to make some very simple adjustments. I'm not going to lie. We may already be in the end game. As in, I think if I keep messing up, the next lap I get that's good, we're going to take it. And I might lay off the comms so I can fully lock in. Anyway, another attempt. Let's do it. Braking super late there for turn 1. Avoiding the inside curves to see if that makes any difference. Not bad. Not bad at all. Let's try and get within a second of Seb's time. I'd probably take that, to be honest. Come on. There it is. Got the car stopped this time. And I got the traction on the way out. Finally. Lesmo 1. Good. We hit this pretty good last time, Lesmo 2, so I think we'll struggle to match it. But we do. This could be the lap already, guys, I'm not going to lie. Right, this Ascari is critical. Avoid the lines and we're going to be okay, especially on the exit. Just avoid the curbs. We can attack this one, but then avoid the exit curb. Oh, a little bit of white line there. It just kind of pulls you out. It drags you out, but we're flying on this one. Parabolica. Getting the car down to the apex early. Braking a little bit earlier as well. We lose out overall, though. That didn't really work. We lost a couple of tenths. Still, this gets us in the ballpark. 38.3. So now we're 8 tenths off. Whew. Mate, I'm struggling in this episode though to get anything to work, but going back to the default setup definitely seems to have worked. A default setup with a few tweaks on it, so let's keep that rolling. Wow, there's 4 tenths. 4 tenths in the last corner alone. Whew. It's going to be hard to beat that lap because I did such a good job in the first 2/3. I literally just messed up the last corner. The rest of the lap was really good. my god. Whew. We'll take that. I'll take that. I think Seb did a 5.55, but there's a tenth in the first sector where I got it a bit wrong in turn 2, but the rest of the lap was just, yeah, I'll take that. I've done so many laps. I will take that. Now then, in the end, here is the final setup of the car. So gearbox, custom made, 7th gear, 312, top speed, absolutely perfect. Tyres, of course, wet tyres with 18 PSI across the board, 100 litres of fuel. Technically speaking, the counter of laps has updated and it's actually dipped below 18. So I should have gone for 102. But I'm going to turn a blind eye because I actually basically reduced the engine braking a lot. That's the reason why the fuel has changed. I drastically adjusted the engine braking and it seemed to work pretty well. Aero 1719, actually default wings. Alignment, I also ran default as well. Same goes to the dampers. Default bias, but I put the pressure on 98. Heave dampers default. Suspension, mostly default. I lowered the front roll bar a little bit, but that's it. Like, genuinely, I tried a lot of different things, but reverting to default was the best thing I did on car setup. Anyways, guys, there we have it for today's episode. Really enjoyed. Big challenge. First official proper wet weather episode. So give me your thoughts, guys, in the comments down below. Did I do a good job of calibrating the conditions? Do you want to see more of these? If so, give me wet weather suggestions. I have a few lined up. Another one at Monza was Hamilton 2017, but if you guys want to get some other ones going, feel free. Either way, down below you're going to have links to the car, guys, so go check it out. The track is default in game, so yeah, bear that in mind. As always, leave a like on the video and subscribe. It massively helps these videos out in the algorithm, guys, so please leave a like, leave a comment. That goes a long way. It really, really does. Also, as always, a massive shout out to my channel members, as always, for supporting the content. Check out the 2 videos on screen. You might enjoy them, especially the second one, and I'll see you guys in the next one very soon. Until then, take care, and let's go back from me. Ciao.